Hey everybody, meteorologist Brad Panovich here with an update on our severe weather risk down in South Carolina today. I think the risk overall is much lower than last week. I mean, it really doesn't even compare, honestly. And the threat seems to be shifting south as we're going through the afternoon. I'll show you why. It's pretty simple. We're kind of wedged in with cool air. The main threat for severe storms today is going to be in and near this stationary front, which is right in here. Now, that does include small sections of the low country of South Carolina. This first batch of rain this morning is what we call a thunderstorm complex. Is actually helping us out from the Midlands north because it's stabilizing the atmosphere. And I'm going to stop this right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the temperatures because I think it's going to tell you a lot about how cool it is. We've got northeasterly winds kind of giving us a wedge. And as this rain falls into this air mass, it's actually dropping the temperatures. Most temperatures are running generally only in the 50s. We've got 50s and even 40s in this area. So this is a really stable air mass here. Now, it's a little juicier near the coast where we've got some heat and humidity. But for many areas, I think from Columbia north, it doesn't look like we're going to see any severe weather today and maybe marginal threat tomorrow. And I'm going to show you why here. I'm going to turn this off for a second. We'll turn that off. I'm going to turn off the radar here for a second just to show you the severe weather outlook for today. I'm going to turn this on real quick. And you can see that threat's been shifted further south. So the area in red is our heightened risk of severe storms. And if I go into the Carolinas, you can see where that is. It's actually south of Columbia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach area, maybe to Wilmington, but further north, big goose egg here. We're just stabilized. In fact, this line has been shifting south because I think this area is going to stay stable. But down here, it is going to be an interesting setup, especially late tonight, really tomorrow morning. Again, I'll show you tomorrow's severe weather outlook. You can see that same area. So tomorrow morning really looks to be more active in southeastern North Carolina and the low country of South Carolina. So how's this thing going to unfold? Well, let me show you the data. So let's get right into the model data. You can see just light rain spurting into the Charlotte area, North Carolina, most of South Carolina. The heavier storms are staying basically from Augusta down to Savannah, maybe to the Charleston area through the evening hours. Again, the heaviest stuff is really staying to our south. And what that's doing is blocking the warm, humid air from getting north, and it's also locking in a stable air mass. So I don't expect any severe weather at all anywhere near Charlotte right now. This is really just going to be light, maybe moderate rain at times. This is going into tonight. You can see the rain getting here and really stabilizing things. Now, the storms try to sneak north to the Midlands of South Carolina, but this time the atmosphere is so stable, it just looks like heavy rain. The atmosphere is much more unstable down here south of this shield of rain tomorrow morning. And again, you're talking about 7 o'clock in the morning. This just looks to be really heavy rain right now and potentially maybe a flood threat, but not much of a severe weather threat. I'm going to stop this and back it up, and I'll kind of show you how this evolves and moves towards the coast. Tomorrow, I think during the day, probably after 9 a.m., this might be the most significant threat for severe storms right in here because we get a little line that forms. But up in here, big goose egg for severe weather. It just doesn't look like it's going to set up. And then it pushes off to the east. And by late afternoon, just like we saw yesterday, should be a pretty nice Monday afternoon once the showers and storms move out. Now let's look at that significant tornado parameter. We show you this quite a bit. And again, you can see the scale from 0 to 10. This is our short range guidance. So let me widen this out so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it's easier for me to see as well. So we'll make this a little bit bigger and try to get you on screen here. I'm going to push it up here. I need to go through time here. Let me see if this will work. Let's go one at a time. We're going to go one at a time. I'm going to stop this tonight at about 8 p.m. So look at where the significant tornado parameter is highest. Along the Gulf Coast. We'll go through time. Go through tomorrow morning. This is at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Notice just nothing over most of us, but down here towards Hilton Head, Savannah, up to Charleston, those are the areas we're going to watch, and then heading towards the coast. So if we're going to see severe weather tomorrow, it looks like it's the immediate coastal sections of North Carolina and low country of South Carolina and southeastern North Carolina. So a very small section that'll be impacted, much smaller. And what happens back for the western Carolinas, we are just all stable. There's just nothing that's going to get thunderstorms developing except for elevated thunderstorms, which means we'll probably hear some rumbles of thunder and get some locally heavy rain. But overall, I don't expect much to be an issue tomorrow. Let me go in a little bit closer. I'm going to show you the states of North Carolina here and South Carolina. We'll go in closer. And I'm going to back this up. Here we go, so give you a better view. So this is our significant tornado parameter. Notice just not a lot there, folks. I mean, start going into tomorrow, and these areas down here, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, maybe Wilmington down to Savannah, but back towards the north and west, we're kind of in all the clear. So the good news is, yeah, we're not going to see much severe weather for majority of the Carolinas. The bad news is this section of North and South Carolina needs to be on guard tomorrow morning. Up here, just a miserable cold rain that's going to develop tonight and likely last most of tomorrow. Hope you're having a great Sunday, everybody.